What's up, YouTube? It's Glenn back with Big Jack, back with another Best Bets of the NFL weekend video. Getting late into the season. We are heading into week 15 here. Week 14 was another lackluster week for our show. We get one winner by the grace of the football gods to avoid an 0-6 weekend. I go 1-2. Jack goes 0-3. Not where either of us want to be. Usually let Jack speak for himself, but I know that he is not happy about an 0-3 weekend. Show overall not in like the worst spot ever, but we'd really like to get above 500, and we're running out of time. Jack's 20-21 on the season. I am 19-23. Jack, we got to find some winners this week, my brother.
Last week was tough. We always kind of say like, the ebbs and flows are just part of the deal. Pretty brutal to have two quarterbacks eat injuries early on in two of my games, and nothing really even close. Just all blowout losers, wrong side of everything. Gotta find a way through, get back on track, and need a really really solid stretch. These last what do we got? 4 weeks left in the regular season. So I got to tighten it up. It's nice that the buys are done, so you do have a little bit more of a full board to sort of work through. Hopefully, find the appropriate angles, and got to take care of business.
No doubt about it. I mean, I need to average a 2-1 week the rest of the way to come out at 500. Don't love that, but getting a 3-0 week somewhere in there might help ease a little bit of that pressure. But all we could do is just go game by game, try to pick winner by a winner, build this thing brick by brick here. So we'll get started. We'll hop into the games here in week 15. I'm going to get started going against the Green Bay Packers, who just beat up on a Chicago Bears team, ended up escaping with a victory. Packers are a good football team, but they're traveling to Denver, where they are road favorites by 2 points. I'm going to take the home dog in Denver. I just think that Denver defense is quite a bit better than that Bears outfit that the Packers played. I think Denver's offense is a little bit stronger at home. I've seen some stats, and these stats always, you don't hold too much weight into it, but teams after playing the Bears are really bad this season. The week after they play the Bears, it's something like they're like 2-9 or 2-10, something like that after playing the Bears. I'm going to go against the Packers. I'm going to go on the Denver Broncos. I think they're one of the teams that are the class of the AFC right now. Even if Bo Nix isn't playing like at an elite quarterback level, I think he does enough for that team and what Sean Payton wants. I like Denver this week +2. That's my first pick of the week.
That's solid, man. Denver's home and away splits are, pretty drastic. We've talked about it on here a number of times. Them catching a couple points at home, I think it's a decent spot. Certainly wouldn't want to be on the other side of that. I mean, the Bo Nix, Sean Payton era this past year and a half, or I guess closer to 2 full seasons now worth of data. They're pretty special at home, straight up against the number, all that good stuff. So I think that all bodes well for you. Solid start there. Like them to get it done at Mile High. My first pick, I'm going to go to probably one of the marquee games of the week, at least in my opinion, that Detroit-LA Rams game. I'm going to take the Rams laying almost a touchdown. They're -6 at home against Detroit. Detroit's going to be, they got a ton to play for, obviously. They're kind of vying for that last or, second to last playoff spot in the NFC. It's all out ahead of them. Something the Bears are going to have to reckon with potentially down the stretch here. But I just think the Rams are good, man. I just think they're really probably just a little bit of a notch above the rest of the NFC. That NFC West is freaky, but I think they get it done. I think they take care of business home. I know Devontae Adams is carrying a little bit of an injury. He's been a huge part of what they're doing this season, but they're starting to get Blake Corum going a little bit. Kyren Williams is obviously a stud. What McVay does in the run game, in the way that they are able to move the rock. There's a lot of great trends over the course of time for the way that this Rams team has played against the spread into December. I think they're 16-3 in their last 19 games in December against the spread. You kind of think that, it's getting to that cold weather, that football weather time of year, a team from out of LA, they don't want any part of that. This team's different. He's got his boys ready to play. I think they will be this week, and I think they roll the Lions at home.
You know what? I don't know if I love either side in this game, but I do love the fact that the Lions are 6-point dogs here. It makes me feel like Vegas really likes the Rams in this spot. And with the spot the Bears are in, not to bring everything back to the Bears, but you'd love to see Detroit take a loss here this week, no doubt about it. So
unless you just want that number 1 overall seed, baby.
Oh, that's true too. Let's get in the playoffs first before we get too caught up on number one seeds and shit. But I like where your head's at. I'll be tailing as always, and that's going to be an easy one to root for me as well. My second pick of the week, if you watch this show, if you know me at all, you know that this is one of my favorite teams come the second half of the season. I don't know why, because historically, I hate anything coming out of Miami, but I like the Dolphins this week, man, to go up to Pittsburgh and keep it within those 3 points. Actually like them to win outright. Just feel like they're playing really good ball right now. I know Pittsburgh beat Baltimore last week, but Baltimore, something's going on there right now, man. It just, I don't know how strong of a win that truly is. I know it's a division win. I know it's still Baltimore, but it just doesn't feel the same right now. I like Miami to go up there. Pittsburgh's also one of those teams where they had that win last week against Baltimore, and now they dropped to Miami. Like, they're that classic team that does that. So Miami +3, that's my second pick of the week. I like the pick a lot. That's my second pick, Miami +3.
You've been on Miami past couple of weeks. Like you said, you already sort of cashed that midseason future. You played on them. You got on the right side of that. They've been riding a nice little wave here ever since they fired the GM, but kind of gave McDaniel a little bit of a vote of confidence, which I was surprised in, to be frank. I thought he was going to get axed earlier on in the season, but he's sort of ridden it out. Kept that team together. They're playing really strong football. And I really like your last point about the Steelers being one of those teams who do kind of play to their opponent, if you will. And I could see them kind of coming back down to earth after a massive win in Baltimore to kind of take the reins back in that division. My second pick, I'm kind of going a little bit all over here. I don't know, man. Houston Texans are good. That defense is really, really good. It's outstanding, potentially the best unit in the NFL. Either side of the ball, they're obviously the best defense. I'm going to take the Cardinals +9.5. It's a lot of points, and I just don't really think that Texans offense is all that good. CJ Stroud's all right. He's okay. He's fine. They just don't move the ball, consistently. I don't know if I see them kind of hanging on by 10 points. I don't think they're going to win this game by double digits. I don't know. I like the Cardinals to fight, to keep it tight. They haven't been playing great the past couple weeks, but previously they've been competitive throughout the course of the season. They're probably a little bit of a better team than I think that record is, and I certainly think they're a little bit better team than the market's given them with that 9.5. So I'm going to take it. Last week I said I thought or 2 weeks ago, I thought it was a bad line in a Colts game, and I was wrong. I was on the wrong side of that one pretty badly. I think it's a similar situation here. Hopefully I get it right. I'm taking the Cardinals +9.5.
I love that pick, Jack. I was kind of thinking about maybe making that pick as well, which, quick side note, last week we're on the same side. We pick a loser, a pathetic loser at that. So we have to own up to that. But I was really close to picking this side too. I ended up steering clear of this game. The only thing that worries me, not to put any kind of hex on your pick, is if you can remember that Arizona game I picked earlier in the season against Seattle, where like Seattle really didn't do, if I remember correctly, they didn't do a ton offensively, but like before you blinked, it was like 35-0 with like 3 defensive touchdowns or something like that against the Cardinals. That's the only thing that gives me any pause. But if this is just a game where Arizona can play legitimate NFL football and not turn the ball over, I definitely like them to keep that within that 9.5 point. That feels like a ton of points against that Houston team that does have a good defense, but their offense does leave some things to be desired. So I like where your head's at with that pick for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of, sorry to cut you off, but there's a lot of big numbers on the board this week. A lot
for sure. 100%. A lot of big numbers this week. All right, my third and final pick. This is, to preface it, I'm gonna sound like the guy that claims he was gonna do something but didn't do it kind of guys. Bear with me, but last week, if you remember the week before, Minnesota gets shut out by Seattle, if I remember correctly, and then they come back this week and this past week and they shit pump their opponent. Their opponent was the Washington Commanders. Commanders scored 0 points. I wanted to take Minnesota last week, but I didn't have the balls to do it. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to have the balls to take the Washington Commanders coming off that donut spot against Minnesota, and I like them to cover the 2.5 point spread against the New York Giants. Commanders +2.5, strictly because they got shut out last week. They got blanked. They're going to bounce back. They're going to win this game outright against the New York Giants. That's my third pick of the week.
I like your logic there. Just kind of a team who is hopefully, going to have a little fight for you, show some pride after a tough week previously. I don't have any really like feelings about that game. One kind of general thought about Washington. I mean, obviously Daniels has just kind of not really been in the lineup this year consistently enough for them to get anything going. They've regressed pretty drastically. I've been very sort of baffled from the outside looking in at the initial production and now lack thereof for Jakrowski Merritt. I don't know what's up with that. I was like, dude, this guy's kind of a stud, and then he's just been I think he only had like 3 touches last week. His like usage has gone way down. It's just weird. You would think like, you try to get the rookie involved a little bit more, especially if like it's not like they're a crazy playoff team and someone else is toting the rock and they like want to trust a veteran. I think you would just try to get a guy experience, but I don't know. Just a weird situation with them. But yeah, I don't feel any type of way about the game, so hopefully it comes in for you.
Let's hope. The other thing, just like a side note about Washington, I mean, their roster, not only does it not look great right now, but it looks old. It looks like it needs like a damn near like full-blown rebuild outside of the quarterback spot if you're banking on Jaden Daniels, man. I'm with you. Why not get a couple of the young guys involved? Hopefully they show some fight this week in a divisional game and find a way to keep it tight or potentially win against the Giants.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Need it. My third final pick of the week, going to the well, doing something I always do, just a handful, if that, per year. It's been, probably about 10 weeks or so since I've gone down this path. It's a big number. This Cleveland Browns team is number 1 in the league with some of their defensive line metrics. The way that they sort of, their win rate for both run and pass is number 1. It's a big number. Shadur Sanders is playing some, pretty impressive football, at least from a numbers standpoint. He is still making a couple mistakes here and there. I just feel like Myles Garrett has the potential to kind of go crazy against a Bears offensive line, but give me the Bears -7.5, baby. I think the Bears pop the Browns on Sunday. I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be a barn burner. I don't think the Browns are going to want any part of that game at Soldier Field this Sunday. The Bears just lost a tough one. I think they're going to learn from their experiences previously in the season. When they came off some losses, the way that they bounced back and sort of rolled the Cowboys after that embarrassing loss to Dallas, the way that they bounced back after losing to a backup quarterback in Tyler Huntley with the Ravens. I think Ben Johnson has the culture, the mentality. They're not going to take this game lightly. They know what's at stake in this spot and the rest of the season and what lies ahead, depending on how this game goes. I think they're going to put their foot on the gas from the get-go. I think they're going to come out, score that opening drive, quiet a lot of the critics about the way that they've been starting the first halves that they've been putting together and how embarrassing it's been. I think they're going to be extremely intentional this week, and I think they're going to smack the fuck out of the Cleveland Browns. Give me the Bears -7.5.
Couldn't love this pick any more than I do. We'll get into it a little bit more in our Bears preview show, but I think there's some real legitimacy to your pick here. I like the way that they've bounced back as well. Not to put too much stock into injury report right now, considering it's only Thursday, but it's looking like a lot of Cleveland trench guys are potentially out, and it's going to be cold out there. I think this is a game where if those guys on the Cleveland team don't have just some pure love for the game, they could end up opting for some business decisions throughout the course of the game. I like the Bears in this spot, Jack. I'm glad you're on it. It's been a while since I've had any balls to bet one side of the Bears. I'm glad you got the balls to do it. So, quick recap for everybody at home. I am on Denver +2, Miami +3, and Washington +2.5. 3 dogs for me. Jack is on the Rams as 6-point favorites, Arizona +9.5, and the Chicago Bears -7.5 at home versus the Cleveland Browns. If you're watching at home, like and subscribe, hit that bell. We bring you guys pick videos every week. And we're starting to get in some other content too. So make sure you like and subscribe, get involved, comment below your favorite picks of the week. Jack, any last words for the fans at home?